They have national security concerns, and so of course they are pushing back on the idea that Ukraine would be joining NATO. But Ukraine is not in NATO today. Ukraine is not even on the verge of becoming part of NATO. There's no imminent vote, or that process is far out. So the big question then is, why would Putin and Russia want to invade Ukraine or conduct what they're calling a special military operation? Why would they want to do that today if this, over an idea of NATO? And that's because that's not really what any of this is about. It's always been about, and I will assert this again and again and again, this is about resources, energy resources. And it always is when it comes to foreign war in the United States. It's always about oil or gas, and this is about a natural gas pipeline. And what it is that, and I've talked about it here on this show before, that Russia provides Europe currently with about 40% of Europe's energy. That is a lot. That is a way more than what the United States is comfortable with. And so, Germany had actually then agreed to buy even more gas from Russia. This would actually boost Europe's buying of gas to 80%. Of their energy. Russia would be providing 80% of their energy if Nord Stream 2 pipeline had actually turned on. So this was a giant security threat for the United States. I mean, the U.S. believes that this is a problem. Europe wasn't really viewing it as much of a problem. Europe is not worried about a Russian invasion. Europe is, Russia is trying to actually become more like Europe. Actually, people in Russia, the Russian government, Putin at one point asked to join NATO. He was in discussions about joining NATO, and then those discussions fizzled out because the United States likes to have a boogeyman, Russia being a nice boogeyman for the United States. And so we have really sort of cut Russia out from being a part of Europe. And we've been bringing in all of these other countries, Poland and going into Ukraine and trying to bring them more into the European fold, but leaving Russia out. And the Russian people and Russia want nothing more but to be considered a European city, Moscow, a European city, and to be kind of embraced inside of the European Union, not necessarily a part of the European Union, but just wanting to be a part of the European culture. They view themselves as European. They have a lot of the same cultures. So that is something that they've sort of they've strived for. But that hasn't happened because historically, Russia has been an enemy. However, that has been changing over the years because Russia has been providing a lot of energy to Europe, and Europe has appreciated it, and Europe wants more of that energy. Europe tried to do a lot of the green energy, renewable sources, didn't work out so well. Really old infrastructure. If you try to go over to Europe, it's a difficult thing to do. So their infrastructure relies on, at this point, until they can modify it, will take them a long time to do. But their infrastructure relies on old school sources of energy. Russia provides a lot of it. So all of this was always about Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. And over the years, the Obama administration had opposed the building of this pipeline. So this is the Nord Stream 1 gives Europe 40% of the energy. Nord Stream 2 would provide 80% of the energy. So the Nord Stream 1 already turning online was a problem. And the United States didn't really like that very much. But okay, it was only 40% of the energy that could be replaced. Once you get to 80%, that's a real problem. So Obama opposed the building of Nord Stream 2. Trump also opposed the building of Nord Stream 2. Biden opposed the building of Nord Stream 2. This was a project that had been opposed by every single American administration, yet the project continued to move forward. Europe wants Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream 2 completed in September. So it is done. The pipeline is finished. When it was Obama, it was an idea. Then it started to become a reality. And then it became a full-fledged reality under Trump, and now fully completed under Biden. So the United States is in last-ditch effort to stop this pipeline from turning on and giving Europe 80% of its energy from Russia. The United States doesn't like that because the U.S. doesn't want Europe to be more beholden to Russia and Russia's interests than the United States. And once Europe becomes dependent on Russian natural gas, then suddenly when Russia wants something and the United States wants something, like let's say the U.S. wants to go to war in some place and it's like a proxy war against Russia, Europe is going to stay neutral. This would turn Europe into a neutral continent, really. Much like Switzerland, right? They would just stay out of it, like Sweden and the Nordic countries. They just would stay out of things. And the U.S. doesn't like that. We need Europe. We need European. We need NATO. And we don't want the European nations to start ditching out of NATO because they don't want to go along with the United States warmongering. We need them. We want them as allies, especially since there's a rise of China in the East. And so even though NATO has nothing to do with China, there are new security pacts that have been formed. The AU, what do they call that one? With the Australia and UK. I think it's I forgot the acronym to it, but it's like AU, US, UK, or something like that. So that, we're starting new security pacts.